All right, we finally got our first win of the season, but are we really back? Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are back live this Monday evening for our Week 4 game review of the Raiders defeating the Broncos 32-23. I want to say hello to you, all of you out there. I see a few of you already filing in. Unfortunately, we will not be simulcasting on TikTok tonight. I have been put in the pokey poke for a week for saying certain things about the coach. But I will be back on Friday on TikTok as well as YouTube, and I'm back here on YouTube, and I see Sandy B in here. How you doing? Yes, this is one of my old Darth Raider shirts. How are you doing? We are celebrating the win, but you know what? I still have a lot of criticism for Coach Josh McDaniels. I'll get into that during the full game review. I wanted to say hello to you guys out there as everybody is filing in, and this is how we normally do things around here. If you are new or if you're watching this on the replay, we have what we call the rundown here. These are the topics that I'm going to be talking about tonight. And we always end with a question and answer segment from you guys because this is the reason why the channel is here, the interaction. I want to hear your take on this. Yes, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Sandy, how are you? How you doing tonight? So anyway, let's get right to it. And as always, we start with our champion count.
I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, as far as champion count goes, YouTube is doing its thing. It's funny because TikTok, I was taken off on Friday and actually got more followers or / subs than I did on the YouTube side. So you make of that what you will. I have my opinions on that, but we still are growing, and I enjoy each and every one of you, and I look forward to getting back on TikTok as soon as I can.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
And as always, we start on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to be doing our game review here. The first key to the game that I want to talk about was stopping this run game of the Denver Broncos. I thought this was one of the bigger keys to the game. Javonte Williams, the two-headed monster with Melvin Gordon. I wanted to see less than 100 combined rushing yards from the both of them, and less than 70 rushing yards from Javonte himself. And this is where we were. He only had 28 rushing yards. Granted, he was hurt second half, knee injury. Unfortunately for him, it looks like he might be out for the season. I did not get the official word on that, but we did hold the team down to 85 combined yards, including the big fumble for the touchdown off of Melvin Gordon. Well done with that, of course. What other grade can I give than an A on that? Could have very well given an A+ on that. My only thing was second quarter, they started getting the running game going a little bit more with Javonte. Unfortunately for the Broncos, he got hurt in the second half and they had to go to Boone, and the running game just wasn't there. My second key to the game, as far as the defense goes, this is an overall defense, and this is what I wanted to see from the entire defense. I wanted to see at least 3 sacks, less than 18 first downs, and no red zone touchdowns. Of course, we haven't had a whole lot of sacks this season, and I was figuring with this offensive line, we should be able to get some, especially interior. What we actually got was 3 sacks. That was 2 from Crosby, 1 from Nate Hobbs blitzing. Unfortunately, Chandler Jones off the sheet again as far as sacks go, and no interior lineman as well. We only gave up 12 first downs in the game. That was excellent, but we did give up 2 red zone touchdowns, including the one to Russell Wilson late in the game, trying to gin up his old magic. So I got to give this one a B overall. Well done with the defense. The one that kind of marks it down for me is those 2 red zone touchdowns. I talked about this in my game preview. Broncos were dead last in red zone touchdown percentage at 14%. They actually got 2 in this game. So overall, I'm going to give the defense an A-. Of course, they got that defensive touchdown. They only held them to 7 points in the game in the second half. But again, those red zone touchdowns, I think they're going to knock it off a little bit. I couldn't give a full A to this, but still well done overall to the defense. A very solid game, even when the offense was struggling a bit, especially in the second quarter. We'll get to that right now as far as the offensive side of the ball. And this is the big play right here. This is the strip sack. Deron Harmon hitting Gordon, popping up, goes right into Meek Robertson's lap, literally. Just picked it up and ran it in. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it. I know you did as well, as a member of the Raider Nation.
And I hear everyone say it, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now, as far as the offensive side of the ball, what I stressed was mainly focusing on the running game. So far this season, we've rushed for 13, 21, and 19 per game in each of the first 3 games. So that was my first key to the game. Get Josh Jacobs and this running game going. What I wanted to see was 25 plus total attempts and over 100 yards combined rushing. And what we actually got was 38 total attempts. That includes Derek Carr. We'll get to him in a minute. And over 200 rushing yards, 212 to be exact. Josh Jacobs, 28 for 144 and 2 touchdowns. Unbelievable. And I said before with Derek Carr, he needs to run the ball 3 or 4 times a game just to keep this defense honest. He actually ran it 7 times for 40 yards. Well done to that. I got to give this an A+. This is exactly what we've been needing to do this entire time, especially that first game against the Chargers. If we pounded the ball and focused on the run game like we did against the Chargers, we would have won that game by double digits. Of course, I don't think we would have had 3 interceptions because we would have been running the ball so much. And that kind of goes to my second key to the game. I knew Adams was going to get his. It was a tough matchup back and forth with Surtain, and I wanted to show Josh Jacobs here running the ball because I showed it in the halftime report where he ran through that first touchdown he had. He had basically a hole as big to run a truck through on the left side of the offensive line. Well done to them. And then he breaks loose here in the second half rather. Unbelievable. I think this is exactly what you need to do to a team like the Broncos, who are pass defense heavy. Now, my second key to the game was getting Waller and Matt Hollins going. Now, Hollins had a pretty good game last week. He had over 150 receiving yards and a touchdown. I wanted to see Waller get going. I wanted 15 total targets between the two, 10 receptions, 100 plus yards, and at least 1 touchdown. And what we got with the 2 is 10 targets, 6 receptions, 57 receiving yards, and no touchdowns. I'm going to give this a B-. I probably could have went a little bit lower with this, to be honest with you. However, I could see how the offense was shaping up, basically run heavy, which they should against this team. But still, Waller had another drop ball. He needs to get it together. We gave him that big contract. It's time to step up and perform, to be honest with you. Hollins had a better game in the second half than he did in the first half, but still, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more there. Darby, the corner over here on this side, totally ineffective. I thought we could take him, and we pretty much could. Adams and Surtain was kind of a 50-50 split, to be honest with you. That was a heck of a matchup to watch as well. As far as the total offense, give it a grade overall. I'm going to give it a B+. I can't give it an A because we kicked 4 field goals. If it wasn't for the running game, it'd probably be even a C. But overall, we did pretty well. We scored 26 points. That's pretty good. Again, we had 4 field goals. We should have had at least one of those being a touchdown. And, you know, I understand this is a tough defense as far as throwing the ball goes. So I'm going to give it a B+. I'm not going to give it an A just for those reasons that we couldn't actually be consistent on getting touchdowns versus field goals. Now, as far as my prediction goes, I said this was going to be 20-16. I wasn't anticipating a defensive touchdown, but I, of course, enjoyed it. But I don't think we should have given so many points up to Denver. But I'm not gonna give them 3 points because of that stupid onside kick in the second quarter. What were we thinking? And that's my main thing with Josh McDaniels. And I said that during the halftime show. It seems like he wants to show that he's smarter than everybody else. And it just kind of blew up in his face. We had the momentum. We got the lead up 10-7. We do this silly onside kick. They get half a field. Our defense stops them for only a field goal. Now, McManus can hit it from there. I think they only got about 10 or 15 more yards. So the defense did their job. I'm not going to get them on that. So I would probably give them more like 20 points if we weren't so boneheaded. And then once we got the ball back after they got the field goal and tied it at 10, what do? Pass, and punt the ball. And I was like, oh, shit, here we go again. Here we go again with McDaniels and wanting to pass the ball. But he corrected himself. I got to give him props on that. Little wobbly there in the second quarter, but he did come back to the running game and pound the ball. And it's exactly what we needed to do. The offense did close out both the half and the end of the game with a score. Big props on that as far as we were only up by 2 points with 7 minutes left. We got the ball back after they scored. Russell Wilson kind of resurrecting a little bit of his old Russell Wilson magic back in his prime. Running the ball, scrambled in for the touchdown. We had the ball with about 7 minutes and change. Took 5 minutes off the clock and rushed the ball and scored a touchdown, another touchdown with Josh Jacobs. Well done. Only gave him 2 minutes left. Had a 2-score lead. It was pretty much over anyway. They needed a miracle. And then the defense came back and stopped them on down. So well done overall to this team. However, I'm a little concerned for next week. Obviously, we're going to be playing the Chiefs. I'm not so sure we can do these kind of boneheaded things against the Chiefs and survive. Broncos offense is anemic. It's been anemic. Nathaniel Hackett, former OC for the Packers, hasn't really showed me much at all, to be honest with you. And it continued here. We kind of gave them a short field on that one. They could only get a field goal. So overall, we did well. We played to what we needed to. Pretty clean overall as well. Only 4 penalties, 25 yards. I think Denver had 7 for 50. So, again, we had 25 first downs, 14 rushing the ball. Unbelievable. That's exactly what we needed to do against this defense and to keep this pass rush and pass defense honest. KC. Sandy says KC. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. I put a poll in here, and I asked, I want you to grade the Raiders' performance. I showed you my grade. I probably give them overall a B+. Overall for the team, I gave the defense an A-. I gave the offense a B+. So I would say probably a B+. I can't give them an A grade overall. Some of the things kind of screwed up. And again, we're still a little anemic in the red zone. I want to see that improve. Of course, we didn't have Hunter Renfrow. We're playing against a tough defense. And I know they were trying to get to Devontae in the red zone. But, of course, Patrick Surtain, very tough. And, again, both of those guys are studs. So it's going to be like a 50-50 back and forth. And that's what I thought would happen. But I'm going to give them a B+ overall. And it looks like you guys agree with me. Overall, you guys graded it a B. I only have 4 options. So I put A, B, C, and D. Obviously, it's not a D if you win the game. You could go C or higher, but I wanted to put that there. But most of you said B, and I would have to agree with that. So, Sadie B, how you doing? I see here. Sadie B says, I gave a C because of the miscommunication. Yeah, there were some things out there, and it upset me a little bit with that and the situation where frankly, McDaniels kind of stumbled there in the second quarter. But there was also some other things, and the announcers were talking about with Devontae Adams about the playbook and the new system, and he's saying it's like Mandarin to him. It's so complex, and you saw, I think it was in the late third or fourth quarter, where we threw the ball deep. It was in double coverage. It was incomplete, but you saw Colton Miller got an ineligible downfield, and it looked like he thought it was actual screenplay or something. There's no reason for him to be that far downfield. I think he thought it was a screen and he was going down to block. I think it's because the playbook's a little too complex. And again, I think it's kind of Josh McDaniels again, this thing where he has to show that he's so smart. I think maybe his first year he should have maybe incorporated a lighter version of that, get everybody in place he needs, and then go from there. But overall, I think the Raiders really wanted this, both the players and McDaniels. Of course, he was going up against the team he was a head coach for formerly. I know, like 10 or 15 years ago, but still, you can see the excitement. If you saw the post game where Derek Carr gave McDaniels the game ball, I think there was a little bit too much excitement. It's good to be excited. It's good to have that, but it was one game. We're 1-3 now. I really hope that we don't make those kind of coaching mistakes next week on Monday night. We're going to get eaten alive. We cannot give Patrick Mahomes and that offense any more chances than they need, and then try to rest on a defense that's really thin at corner right now. Rocky Sin was out, did not play. So Hobbs is there. Sam Webbs was questionable. We're really thin there. We just picked up a linebacker. Of course, Denzel Perryman played well. Had a couple of tackles for loss, one on a running play where he shot in, one on a screen play. He got a concussion during the game, so he was out. He's probably going to be out next week. That's probably why we signed an inside linebacker named Blake Martinez today. Former Giant, of course, so Patrick Graham knows the guy, inside linebacker. So I'm assuming Perryman's not going to be playing against the Chiefs this week, especially in light of what happened with Tua Tagovailoa. I think the whole league's going to be really strict on the concussion protocols at the league and the team level, because they don't want anything like that to happen again. That's probably why Hunter Renfrow didn't play for a second straight week. So we were missing Renfrow. We're missing Renfrow big time in the red zone. So I'm hoping he's back for this game. We really need him to be able to convert those field goals into touchdowns. Hey, Earth Daughter, how you doing? I see you in here. Let me see how many people we got in here. Meow. Looks like we got four people in here right now. How you guys doing? Glad to see both of you in here. A couple of my wrenches. You hear my cats meowing? Excuse me. So those of you, I want to hear your opinion on it. I want to hear your opinion on the game. If you watched the game, I know a few of you in here may not have been able to catch the game. You're a little busy. That's okay. But overall, I was happy, especially in the second half. Hi, driving at the red light. Okay, no texting while driving, Earth Daughter. Remember that. But that's okay. You're at a red light. That's okay. But like I said, I was really, if you watch my halftime report, so if you're new here, especially if you're watching this on a replay and you're liking this, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. You'll be notified, hopefully, with YouTube. Also follow me on TikTok. You see right, it's reversed right there. Raider_champion on TikTok. I will be back on Friday there as well. Once I'm out of the pokey, the TikTok pokey. So yeah, on the road. So like I said, if you're enjoying this, why not subscribe, hit the bell notification, do all that so you're here live with us instead of watching a replay. You can interact with us. Plus, next Friday, I'll be doing the preview of the Chiefs game. We will be going live Monday evening at halftime during the Chiefs-Raider game on Monday Night Football. And then I will be doing the game review on Tuesday night. Again, if you watched last Sunday at the halftime report, I was pretty pissed off. Even though we were winning 19-16. I was not happy with what I saw. I thought we made some mistakes. I think we could have very well had a double-digit lead going into halftime. McDaniels with the stupid onside kick. The bad play calling once we got the ball back after they tied it. You can't do those things against good teams. Now, like I said, Denver's offense is terrible. There's no two ways about it. They're terrible. And I thought when they signed Russell Wilson, I said they gave up 3 first-round picks. I said that was way too much. And the proof the pudding's in the eating, and you can see it. They're not very good. And now Javonte Williams, the bright spot of the whole offense was the running game, and their top runner looks like he's going to be out for the year with a knee injury that he suffered early in the second half. So Denver's in trouble. They're 2-2, but they're in trouble. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, to be honest with you. Their defense is good enough to keep them in games, but the offense just isn't clicking, and I'm not impressed with Nathaniel Hackett, their head coach. I'm just not. And I'm more impressed with McDaniels, but sometimes McDaniels does dumb things, and it just pisses me off like he did in the first half of this game. So let's see. I see 4 people in here. I want to see 4 people in the chat. What is going on with that? So Sandy B says, when is Renfro coming back? I miss him. I miss him too. Like I said, he got a concussion in the week 2. Remember at the end of the game, very last play, obviously, in overtime against Arizona, where he got popped, came loose. He got hurt there. They deemed it a concussion. He was out week 3 against the Titans, and then he was out again. I think, like I said, because that whole thing with Tua Tagovailoa, if you don't know that situation, it looked like he may have had a concussion during the Bills game. They let him come back in the game, finish it, and then last week he kind of got planted into the ground, and he was just like all messed up. And I think he had a concussion the first time, the way he kind of fell back the first time against the Bills game, back on the back of his head. I'm not a doctor, but that's my opinion. And I think the league and the teams this is going to be a magnified now. So I think that might be the reason why Renfro didn't play in this game. We definitely need him. So that's 2 games he missed. The Titans and now the Broncos. We definitely need him against KC next Monday. And I really think he will be. So, but you told me not to text. Ring his bell. Yeah, I was watching the game and I was like, holy crap. He got turned around and kind of planted, and he was kind of like doing this, like his brain got scrambled. And then they took him away. They took him away in the cart and they sent him to the hospital. It was like, holy crap. I hope he's okay. You could die from that kind of crap. They're talking about, if your brainstem gets swole, that's it. Game over. You're done. And now some people are saying he might not ever play again. I don't know about that. We'll see what happens. I wish him the best. I know I've talked smack about him and his noodle arm to a Latin, but I did not wish him to get hurt. Absolutely not. I hope for the best for him. I do hope he comes back on the field and he's healthy. So that's serious stuff. Exactly. It's serious stuff. And I heard that the NFL Players Association fired the independent doctor that made the first evaluation during the Buffalo game, that he could come back in that first game. I heard he got fired. I heard that in the headlines. So I think we're going to see hear a lot more about this. Again, I think that's why the Raiders were a lot more careful with Renfro, and I think that's why Perryman's probably not going to play versus KC, and we signed Blake Martinez to take his place already. Even though we have an extra day, usually you get 5 days on the protocol. Normally, before this whole Tua situation, if you're 5 days and you're okay, you can play the next week. We have an extra day because we play on Monday night. I don't think he's going to play at all because of all this crap that's going on. That's why we got Blake Martinez, because he knows Patrick Graham's system. He's inside linebacker, and he's a pretty good tackler. So pretty fortunate for us. I'm surprised he's not on a roster squad somewhere, just because, you need good run stoppers and, good tackling players. So we're fortunate in that. So, but I haven't heard anything else on Denzel Perryman on that. Again, Rock Ya-Sin was questionable but did not play in the game, so that's what it is. 7 in the chat. Give us your questions or comments. Yeah, I mean, that's my whole point. I do the live streams because I want to interact with you guys. I want to give you my take, and then I want to hear from you guys. That's the whole point of this. I'm working on some other ways to do that even more efficiently than I'm doing now. So stay tuned for that. But I mean, if that was the case, I could just pop videos out and you guys could just watch them. To me, I want the interaction. That's the whole point of doing all these live streams. So put your comments in the chat right now. What's your grade for the Raiders? I saw Sandy put it as a C. Most of the votes on here are B's. And also tell me why. Tell me what you liked about the game. Tell me what you didn't like about the game. If you disagree with me on one of my points in the game review, let me know as well. So let's see. Well, yep. We had about 6, and now we're back to 4 in the chat. Let's see. Anybody else? So what I do on these live streams, I normally go for about an hour, with some exceptions, like if we're doing like the schedule review, or in the springtime we do NFL mock drafts of players we could get. Those are a lot of fun too. That's another reason why to sub here. We have a lot of fun with those kinds of things, but I normally go about an hour max on these, and then halftime's about 10 or 15 minutes. We just talk about the game. Sandy B says, I love the Jacobs show. Yeah, Josh Jacobs looked like he's a man on the mission. I'm so glad. I don't know why it took 4 games, but I'm so glad that they focused on the running game here. They should have done a week 1 against the Chargers. Like I said, those two defenses are very similar. I think the Chargers are a little bit better in the secondary and the pass rush, of course, but they're kind of built the same. The inside, not so much. I'm not so worried about. And that's what we should have focused on then. We didn't do it. And we were still close, but Carr threw the 3 picks. It is what it is. In that game against the Chargers, I'd probably give him at least 2 of those picks. I think the third one, the Devontae one, I think Devontae could have fought for that deep ball a little bit more. But the other 2 were clearly on him. It was nice to see Carr run with the ball too. Yeah, it looked like he was on a mission. It looked like Josh Jacobs was on a mission. They did have a player-only meeting earlier in the week. So it looked like the leadership kind of fired this team up. But it's like every year with the Raiders. I mean, it's like Lucy in the football. You think, okay, this time I'm going to be able to kick the football, and then they take the ball away. So that's why I wanted to temper this, because that post game in the locker room, if you've seen it, it's Raiders YouTube channels put it out. They almost look like they made the playoffs. They were so excited, and it's like, yeah, we won our first game. That's great, but we got to move on. We got a huge game against Kansas City in Arrowhead in prime time. And the Chiefs just came off of last night's Sunday Night Football game, trouncing Tampa Bay. Let's call it what it is. I mean, I know a lot of people, some people in here were saying that, what do you think about the KC game? Are they going to lose to Tampa again? I go, no. I don't think so, because this isn't the Super Bowl, and that they've really did a good job rebuilding that offensive line, and it showed. I mean, they dominated Tampa. I think Brady tried to make it close, but I mean, still it was a 20-point win. Lord Rochitas says, I hope we tighten up on our punt coverage. That's another issue, and I talked about that during the halftime report. I'm pissed off about not only this stupid fake onside kick bullshit that happened, but the punt return coverage looks bad. I talked about this guy, Tom McMahon, that the new regime hired as the special teams coach. He was like dead last or near bottom on punt coverage yards and special teams kickoff return yardage. He was from the Denver Broncos. They probably know how he schemes, and it looked bad out there. It looked bad. I know that, what's his name, Washington? Their punt returner for Denver. He's pretty speedy, but still, I think that's one of the only reasons Denver kind of stuck around in the game, to be honest with you, is their punter is really good, a lot of hang time, and they could return the ball. But not only that, I mean, we talked about in week 2 in Arizona with Dortch running the ball back. He had a couple good returns. I mean, why are we hiring this guy who is at the bottom of the barrel? And it's showing. Our special teams aren't really that good. Our return coverages and that aren't really that good. Let's face it. That was one of the head scratching hires of this new regime. So Mac Hollins, AJ Cole are only bright spots on punting. Well, yeah, I'm talking about punt returns though on defense. So we're giving up way too much as far as punt return yards. Again, like I said, this guy's known for it. I don't know why. I think it's because he's worked with Josh McDaniels before. It's one of his buddies. So, but again, who cares if he sucks? Why are you hiring him? You know. Al's Ghost, I see you in here. Coaches still haven't earned my trust. They haven't earned my trust either. If you looked at my thumbnail, you know, I had to put that meme. He almost played himself. I mean, we took the lead. We had the momentum in the second quarter, and he pulls a bonehead move, especially against a team that can't move the ball too well. All they can do is run the ball. Make them drive 12, 15 plays and get a touchdown. Why give them half the field? Why do that early when we had the lead? And then put our defense on the skids back here on a short field, and then our defense holds up, only gives up a field goal, and then we get the ball back 3 and out, 3 passes, and we punt the ball away again. And I'm like, no, this looks like the second half of Arizona again. Don't do this, Josh McDaniels. Run the ball. It's just like, come on, man. Come on. And Al's Ghost also says when Renfro comes back, I don't want him returning kicks. I don't trust him with the ball. Yeah, and I didn't want him returning kicks either. I was looking for a player in the draft, a speedy kind of wide receiver. I know we had DJ Turner. He's on IR now. He got hurt. That's why I wanted him in preseason, DJ returner. I was also talking about this last year when we got Willie Snead late in the offseason around training camp. We signed him. I said, heck, put him at punt return. Don't put Renfro there. He can return punts, but he didn't even make the team. He ended up getting cut. So let's see. Al's Ghost also says, I think these coaches try to go against conventional wisdom. They think they can outsmart everyone else. Exactly. That's what I was saying during the halftime report. I was extremely pissed off. I was kind of losing my voice. I had to take a couple sips of my iced tea. I was going to say my drink, but it's just iced tea. But I had to because I was kind of at that second quarter on. I was like screaming, getting pissed off because I could see it. First drive, running the ball, tearing it up. I'm like, this is what we should have done against the Chargers. This is what we should have done against the Chargers. Sustained long drives, end up with a touchdown. We got a field goal the first time, but then we got the touchdown, got the lead. Stupid onside kick, and it's like, come on. So, yeah, I think Josh McDaniels is, like I said before, they asked Devontae about the playbook. He says it's like learning Mandarin, according to the telecast. So Why does it have to be so complicated? You've got all these new players. You've got a new system, your first year. I know you want to do all this crazy stuff, but you got to build up to it. Like I said, that example with Colton Miller, he got an ineligible downfield. It looked like he thought it was a screenplay. Honestly, he just kind of wandered out there. He's looking for somebody to block. Now he doesn't do that any other time. Probably because he didn't know what the play was. Probably because it's too damn complicated. Simplify this stuff. Start small, build up. Come on. And run the ball more. You have problems with your offensive line, especially the right side of the line. Run more. Take the pressure off these guys. Al's Ghost also says, we need to embrace our identity as a smash mouth football team. Here's my thing. Then why spend all that money on Devontae if we're going to just be a smash mouth? Why not trade, spend all that cap money, give up our first 2 picks? We could have got a wide receiver in the draft there and been okay if we were just going to do that. Or why not go get Breece Hall with one of those picks? I know Zamir White. I'd like to see Zamir White some more, to be honest with you. He's finally getting in there. I don't know if he just doesn't know the playbook too well. They're worried about him blocking. That was another thing that kind of pissed me off about the lineup, the setup. There was a 3rd down play, and they had Brandon Bolden, I believe. It was either him or Abdul. I'm pretty sure it was Brandon Bolden, though. He was on the left side on a 3rd down and long. And then the right side just kind of deteriorated, and they got pressure, and we had to, was an incomplete pass. We had to punt. I'm thinking, your problem is on the right side of the line. Why aren't you having your running back on the right side of the line to be able to go there and chip and block on 3rd and long plays? Why are you having him on the left side of the line? I trust Colton Miller more than I trust the right side of the line. So I didn't get that. It's just like little stupid things, and these little stupid things can create changes in the momentum and changes in the outcome of the game. So it just needs to clean that up. Jalen Richard was a great 3rd down back. I would agree with that. You could have said Kenyon Drake. We still have a lot on the dead cap if we were going to do that. We brought in Brandon Bolden, his buddy. To me, probably Drake's a little bit better. But, they're pretty much interchangeable as a 3rd down type back. I didn't like Drake inside. Unless he had a huge hole to run through. Didn't do a whole lot. I like Josh Jacobs when he's 100% healthy. He is awesome at doing that. And not only can he kind of push the pile, but he also has, especially when he's 100%. Now, if he's hurt, you don't see that much. But with Josh Jacobs, when he's 100%, he has this lateral ability where he can kind of slide off of tackles just enough to bounce out and go. And it's like, wow, that's awesome. So I want to see that more. We saw that more finally after this is the 4th game of the season. But I want to see Zamir White. Why did we trade up in the 4th round to get this guy if we're not really going to use him? I was thinking we would get more of a split again. He might not have the playbook picked up yet because it's too damn complicated. Again, McDaniels, come on. Did all 3 of our right tackles get some play time yesterday? Let me see. I'm gonna. Illuminor was in. Had some problems. Let me see. I'm gonna pull this up for you right now. Let me get my face off of here. This is Pro Football Reference. And I like this because it kind of breaks down a lot of the stats I get and things that I analyze. And my keys to the game are kind of based off of this, just to let you know. So we're going to look right here. Okay, Colton Miller. Let's see. Parham was the other guard. Let's see. So we had Munford for about half the time. Illuminor was there, and Heron was there as well. So we did have kind of a rotation there. Let's see. Parham got beat early. I will say that. Let me get this back over here. Parham did get beat early. It was, and I'll just chalk it up to him being a rookie. DJ Jones, that big oaf, kind of stunted. He kind of went in and then kind of went out and around. So it was a little bit of a delay. Parham didn't pick it up. It was too late. DJ Jones got an easy sack. It was like the easiest sack in the world. It's like, come on. So, again, that's part of the growing pains with rookies. And, you got college players. Even if they're played well in college, you're playing against people at that level or better now in the NFL. And these are grown men. Some of these guys are 20, 21 years old. They still haven't fully grown. Usually offensive linemen, they put on another 15, 20 plus pounds of weight in the weight room for the NFL game. So it's kind of to be expected at times. So it is what it is. So to answer your question, yes, we did have a rotation. I remember Heron on that. It was funny if you saw the replay on that. I think it was the final, the second Josh Jacobs touchdown. He came and gave, I think it was Patrick Surtain. He tried to help tackle. He kind of gave him a shot after the fact, and Denver wasn't too happy about that, but oh well, too bad for them. Tragedy turned triumph, I see you, and how you doing? Tragedy says, I'll take the win, but I feel we would have lost if we had been playing other team and not the Broncos. We would have lost if we were playing a playoff contender type team, in my opinion. We can't make those kind of mistakes and coaching just goofy decisions against the Chiefs next week. It's not going to work. We're going to have to be much more precise in all areas of the game to beat a team like the Chiefs, especially in Arrowhead, especially on Monday Night Football. You think they're going to want to lose to the Raiders and get embarrassed after they took out Tom Brady in Tampa? It's not going to happen. They're not going to want that. So we're going to have to play a perfect game to win this game. Ooh, that's who 71 was. I did see the push in the end zone. I liked it. Yep, I liked it too. I didn't notice it during the play, but I saw it on the replay. I was laughing. That's like old school Raiders, Just give them a little extra at the end. I'm surprised he didn't get some kind of penalty for that and make it into like a 40-yard extra point or whatever. Let's see. 43 after. We got 8 people in here. All right. And we got some activity. We got 10 people in here, actually. I like it. Good job. Love it. So this is what I'm saying. If you're enjoying this, especially if you're watching this on the replay, you're watching this right now and you've been here this long on the replay, why not subscribe? Why not join us and we can interact and I can take your questions. And again, I'm working on some more interactivity with this. I will give you more details later. I've got some plans for that, but also just interacting in the chat. I mean, you guys, a lot of knowledgeable Raider fans here. To be honest with you, I've seen other fan bases. I've seen other blogs. Not impressed. Honestly, I'm not impressed. And, I'm not tooting my own horn here, and I've seen other content creators for other NFL channels. Not just me. There's a ton of good Raider NFL content creators out there here on YouTube. A ton of them. They're all pretty good. For the most part, they're pretty good, and they're way better. We were way better than I've seen anybody else. And you can ask guys like Casey Hefe, which I'm sure we'll get an appearance by Casey Hefe probably Friday when we do our game preview against the Chiefs. He even admitted it. Content creators here for the Silver and Black are way better than those Chiefs. It's because you give facts and are real. Well, I appreciate that, Sandy B. I appreciate that. But like I said, there's a lot of good content creators out here doing Silver and Black. Way better. Like I said, I've seen others, and for the most part, no, we're the best. We're the best by far. Sandy B says he was thrown out of a chat. Hefe, I don't throw him out. I said, just behave yourself. You can be here, talk smack if you want. that's part of the game, and we had that bet last season. If you were here last year, he came to the game preview and he was talking. I said, if you want to make a bet, you can talk smack. If we win, you got to come in here and take it on our game review. If you win, you can come in here and say what you want. They won. He came in here. He was still pretty cool, though. He wasn't a jerk or anything. He was still pretty cool about it. Yeah, I see Hefe in almost every Raiders chat. And I've seen Hefe in the official Raiders channels, like when they do, the pressers with McDaniels or Carr. I see him in there too. I try to catch those live whenever I can, when I'm not busy. So, because they had a wheel spin, it landed on getting someone out of the chat. Is that what you guys want? Do you want a wheel of misfortune back here I can spin to kick somebody out of chat? I mean, it's kind of funny, I guess, but Al's Ghost says, I want Abram to play spy on Mahomes. That's probably the best bet for Abram. I love Jonathan Abram. I love the way he hits. It's like old school Raiders, but he can't cover to save his life. It's kind of like Denzel Perryman. I know he had a couple good tackles for loss, but as far as playing in coverage against the tight end, was it Saubert? He got burnt by Saubert this week in the Denver game. So, but that's not their game. Honestly, it's not their game. And frankly, it's not his fault he was drafted in the first round. I don't think he was really a first round pick, to be honest with you. Just like Cleve Farrell wasn't a fourth overall pick. But that regime's gone. We're in the new regime. I'm just hoping Josh McDaniels learns from this and runs the ball more, especially against teams like the Chargers, like the Broncos. And, the Chiefs aren't going to be an easy one. I'll get into the preview. I've got some details on that, but we'll talk about that on Friday. But they're not so easy either as far as the pass side. So we'll get into that as well. Let's see. Sandy B says, no, she doesn't want a wheel of misfortune. I mean, we could turn this into a different channel if you want. Play games. I don't know. How about that? So, I do appreciate you guys coming out. We're at 6:47. I'll take any final few questions you have, and then we'll close this one out. Again, we'll be back on Friday. We're going to go at 7 o'clock Pacific. We usually go at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Friday, we're going to go at 7 because had a situation last Friday on TikTok. I normally do both, and I want to honor my fans on TikTok as well. I know some of you have it on both platforms. I appreciate that, but I also do have a TikTok contingency that's growing, so I won't be able to do TikTok until 7 o'clock on Friday. I'm not going to get into why. I'm in the pokey. It is what it is. I will have to use some code words when I talk about Josh McDaniels from now on and some of the crazy things he does. I'll just say that and not use certain words. So it is what it is. So Sandy B says, got to find the weakness. I have an idea of what their weakness is. I'm going to do a little bit study, and then I'm going to come back here and share it with you on Friday. That's the whole reason for coming here. And then afterwards, we get the Q&A, and we have the discussion. Do you guys agree with me or not on these keys to the game, right? Thought on stopping Kelsey, Alsco says. Well, my initial thought, I'm going to look into it. I want to look into it. To me, I like to have a little bit more data behind me. I'm going to look into this game, but to me, first off, we're going to have to double team him. That's just the way it is. I would probably keep Merrig single high. I know they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but they still have McCole Hardman. What's the other guy's name who has some speed on that team? So I still don't want to get burnt deep. And then double Kelsey. Again, we're kind of thin at corner. Are we? So that's another thing that kind of is worrisome to me because we were about 15-20 million under the cap. We could have got some help with that. We chose not to, and now we're kind of paying for it at certain positions. Lord Rachita says, I hope McDaniels gives Abdullah more of an opportunity in the backfield. I like how, see the thing with Abdullah, to me, he's kind of like Brandon Bolden, more of a third down kind of a guy, which is okay if you want to run screen passes. If he can block well, then yes. But if not, if you don't have the time to develop screens because the right side of your offensive line sucks, then that kind of takes away from it. So I would rather see more Zamir White pounding the ball, giving Josh Jacobs a respite, and then kind of incorporating him in, because obviously we moved up to draft him in this draft. We didn't extend Josh Jacobs. I don't think Josh Jacobs is in our plan for 2023. I think Zamir White they're looking at right now to groom him as the top guy next year. So at some point he's going to have to start doing that between McDaniels and Zamir. His pass block might be lacking compared to Brandon Bolden, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then put Bolden on the right side. Put Brandon Bolden. If you're going to have him on 3rd and long, put him on the right side of Derek Carr, not on the left side. I trust Colton Miller more than I trust the right side of that line. If you're going to keep him in there to block, don't put him on the left side. Put him on the right side. Osco says, I like the idea of playing single high, but a too high safety look is what's given Mahomes some problems. Tough to come up with a game plan. Well, yeah, I would go too high if we had Tyreek Hill there. I'm not as worried about the deep ball as much when Tyreek Hill's not there. Of course, he's in Miami. Kelsey, we got to double him. I mean, we don't have anybody to cover this guy, right? So that's the only thing I can think of right now. And we need to not only get to Mahomes but contain him. You know, he's like a greased pig out there, and even if you get to him, you get some pressure on him, he can scramble outside and throw it sidearm and get a first down. It's a pain in the ass. He's a pain in the ass. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and now it looks like they're finally finding a running game. They've improved their offensive line. This is going to be a tough one, guys. It is what it is, and like I said, that front four they really bolstered in the draft with Karlaftis. So we'll get into the details on Friday, but it's definitely not going to be an easy one. Hey, Juan Toscarino, is this a must-win game? The KC game? No, I don't think so. I don't want to go 1-4, but I'm not going to call this a must-win game. I mean, if we lose a close game at their place on Monday night, it sucks. I want to win, but it's not the end of the world. If we get embarrassed, that would suck. I was thinking early on in the Denver game, if we don't win this game and we lose to KC, McDaniels might get fired at the bye week. I don't think that's going to happen now. Maybe that's why he got so excited at the post game. He got the game ball from Derek Carr. Oh, I'm not going to get fired now. I don't know, but I'm really interested to see what these. I mean, we're talking about Josh McDaniels, who's offensive kind of guru guy, and we're talking about Patrick Graham. Now, remember Patrick Graham last year as the Giants DC played KC pretty well. I'd have to go get the score. I'm gonna incorporate that in the game review, of course, but that's probably one of the reasons why he's here now. So again, I'm interested to see what they're gonna bring to the table to slow down this Chiefs offense. Let's see. Alex goes, stop. I'm not even going to read that. You know what? I haven't done it in a while, but we're gonna put this as a joke. We're gonna replace the pinned comment. We're gonna have Al's Ghost comment as the pinned comment now. So it's funny. There's a little grain of truth to that, Al's Ghost. Mr. Davis, the ghost of Mr. Davis. So yeah, I'll put that as a pinned comment. Well done. Let's see. Sandy says, would really bolster the Raiders and they would gain confidence if we win. Absolutely. I mean, geez. I mean, if we win in KC, we go to the bye week 2-3. We can look back and say those other games we lost were totally winnable. I mean, definitely the Arizona game. The turnovers in the first game were the difference. Let's be honest. Look at the stats. They're pretty much comparable. Carr actually had more passing yards than Herbert in that game. And then the Titans game was close. We fell behind and tried to get back. It was kind of the opposite of the Arizona game. So all three of those games were winnable, only lost by one score. Yeah, you could say, wow, we could be 4-1 or 5-0 at this point. So yeah, especially beating the Chiefs, 8-time division champions, going in there, taking it to them in prime time, making a statement. That would be awesome. I'd love to see it. But it's not going to be easy, of course. They're not gonna roll over to us. No way. I don't see that happening. And it's not just Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Let's give credit where credit is due to the Kool-Aid man himself, Andy Reid. I mean, he's a pretty damn good coach. I mean, I got to give credit where credit is due. So it's not going to be an easy game. Again, we'll talk about that on Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific. We're going to wrap this up one right now. Go about an hour. Put any of your final comments in there. We'll get to those. But if you are enjoying this, again, especially if you're watching this on a replay, why not subscribe, hit the bell notification, set it to all so you can be here with us live and talk about these things. It's going to be really exciting. It looks like the Raiders have finally bounced back. I'm not going to say we're all the way there yet. Next week's going to be a hell of a test against the Chiefs. I think we could win, but we're going to have to play, like I said, near perfect game and not let Mahomes kill us. That's going to be the big one. But we will get to that on Friday. Come see us Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific. We'll be on TikTok as well if you prefer that flavor. Thanks again, all of you, for not only joining us, subscribing and all that. That's great, and liking, but participating. I see Juan and Tragedy and Al's Ghost and, of course, Sandy and Earth Daughter. Did I miss anybody? If I did, I'm sorry. Thank you for joining us. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.